Okay, you have a strong chance of not messing up.
Do a 20.
Oh! 11. Boom! That's huge!
I've been running this particular campaign for almost 2 years. There was a core group. My brother, John Castle, he and I actually co-wrote a Dragonlance script when Dungeons & Dragons was at Warner Brothers. Kyle Newman, he directed Fanboys, co-authored Art and Arcana, which is the visual history of all the artwork of D&D, and then he just wrote a D&D cookbook. Ryan Vernier. Ryan is a story designer for League of Legends. Ron Matthews, he's a CrossFit Masters champion. At 46 years old, he was the fittest man on earth over 45. I had previously recruited the Big Show from WWE Wrestling. He now became friends, and he was shooting a TV show in LA. He said, "Hey, bro, I'm going to be there for a few months. Save me a seat, bro. Bring in my dice. We got to play." The group then was joined by Tom Morello on the Mount Rushmore of guitar players of all time. And then one day he said, "Hey, there's this guy in my kid's carpool that wants to play." I said, "Oh, man, I don't know. The group's getting kind of big. You know, we were around like 6 or 7. He said, "The group's kind of getting big. I don't know." I said, "Well, who's your friend?" He said, "Oh, his name's Dan. He co-created Game of Thrones." I was like, Dan Weiss? All right, yeah, he can play. That's cool. Vince Vaughn was a buddy of Tom's from Chicago.
I got introduced by Mr. Morello. He was kind of giving me books and talking to me and kind of like, "You should pick this out." We went on a trip and he kind of brought stuff with him and slowly got me interested.
Then while we were playing one night, Dan was on his phone. And, you know, I kind of get, you know, testy when people are on their phone while I'm DMing. Like, so I kind of looked over and was like, "Hey, man, what's up?" You know? And he said, "Oh, no, it's Dave. Dave wants to know how many hit points the dragon has." I said, "Well, I'm not going to tell you how many it has until you kill it." He went, "Oh, okay." He started texting again. He said, "Hey, man, Dave said he was going to divorce me as a creative partner. Can he come and play?" I said, "Sure, of course." So there were also some former players that have kind of jumped in and out. James Gunn jumped in and out at one point before he had to go away to shoot Suicide 2. Taron Killam from SNL. There are comic book artists who have drawn all the characters. There's a guy named Juan Cabrera who draws from Marvel, a lot of indie comics. He drew the characters. I started playing 5e originally with a producer at Warner Brothers who was in charge of the Dungeons & Dragons property at the time. And he was like, "Hey, you know, we're playing again." I said, "Are you kidding me? Oh my God, that's amazing." So we were actually playing basic out of the Red Box originally. And then 5e came out like during that time. So we then, you know, went and bought all the 5e books and started figuring out how to play 5e. So that's how that started. But what happened was all of my other friends found out I was playing again. And, you know, I'm working out with my trainer and he's like, "You know that I was huge into Dungeons & Dragons." I went, "No, I had no idea." And he said, "Well, I was." And, you know, "Do you have room at the table?" And then other people started wanting to play. So it became this situation where it was like, okay, well, I'm going to just knock the rest off, pick up the books, and I'm going to start DMing.
You would not believe Joe's Dungeon. There's nothing that could occur in the game that someone could come up with on the spur of the moment that isn't in some box. Like the druid turns themselves into a weasel, and Joe says, "What color weasel?" And then the red striped weasel comes out. It's really pretty amazing.
First time I walked into the dungeon down there and saw everything, I was blown away. Like I was like, "Oh my God, I have spent my money the wrong way. Why didn't I do this?"
I remember being a kid in the onesie, you know, Cookie Monster PJs upstairs at the grandparents' house, and I would overhear them. It was like 3 couples playing Pinochle till like, you know, the wee hours of the morning, you know, with their finger sandwiches, and I would sneak down the stairs to sort of observe that. And I remember it was just a magical thing to see, you know, these husband and wives, you know, playing this game, the revelry, the bond, you know, sneaking away with a few finger sandwiches. And I always as a child, I knew I wanted something like that in my life.
I don't fit in anywhere. I go to the movies, 3 people behind me can't see. I don't have a social life outside of work because I've worked 5 nights a week for 25 years all over the world. So this game has become my most anticipated. Really?
It's his bird.
It's my wife's bird. It's not mine. Fried chicken. You think about what's going on in the adventure. How many spell slots do I have left? Where are my hit points? You know, where are we going to be? What if this happens? What if Joe comes up with this? Oh man, I hope he doesn't come up with that. But it's really good for the brain all week long.
It's similar to what a high stakes poker game might be like. It's a game where friends gather that's taken deadly seriously and is a lot of fun, but it's serious. Like, it's very serious. Like, we're on an adventure that we are, like, I think about a lot during the week. I'm looking up stuff, and
Our text thread is crazy.
Yeah.
And this game in a town that can be a little bit fake at times. Let's just be fair. This game has cut through so much of that social noise.
Oh, no.